What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And we're going to be going over several news clips today, both nationally and internationally. And we're going to start off with this sports clip of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has showed his allegiance to the GOAT god, to the Baphomet, and he's indulging in the ancient Babylonian mystery school teachings, believe it or not. That's why he has his left eye covered for the Eye of Horus. And I also seen Richard Sherman here recently on Undisputed with Skip Bayless. He has the Eye of Horus on his chest. He wears it every episode. I've been telling people for years, these high-level athletes, almost all of them, not all, but almost all of them, indulge in Luciferianism, which AKA is ancient Babylonian mystery school teachings. And he came out with fingernail polish, his hair pressed, his lips did. Hey, Jimmy Butler is an ugly man. So that means he makes for an even uglier woman. But that's not the point from Jimmy Butler's perspective. He's showing his allegiance to the occult. There's no doubt about it. He has on fingernail polish and hair pressed and lips pierced and eyes pierced. You might just say Jimmy Butler has lost his mind. But Jimmy Butler is going through a ritualistic period in his life where he's pledging his allegiance. See, in our world, you might just say, Jimmy Butler's gay. Dwayne Wade, these people gay, which they are in my mind, allegedly. Let me say allegedly. But in their world, there is no such thing as a sex. That's why they are sexually fluid. And men and women are the same. In their world, this is plainly obvious. Obviously, he's indulgent in transgenderism. Look at him. Who does this for no reason? Obviously, there's a reason behind it. Now, he can play it off and say whatever you want to say. Well, let's take a look at this. Jimmy Butler has a new look for this season.
This is my emotional state. I'm one with my emotions. So, what you get? Yeah.
So, you hear the reporters laughing. A lot of the reporters know exactly what this is and what he's indulging in and the ritual that is taking place. And, Jimmy Butler, as time goes on, you'll see he'll have greater opportunities down the line. There's no doubt about that. But for him to come out with his fingernails painted and his lips pierced and his hair pressed like a 9-year-old black girl in 1986 is wow for a lot of people. But I'm not shocked. I understand exactly what he's doing and what he's doing it for.
Your emotions heading into the season, going through you guys went through the whole postseason run. Your thoughts?
It's a new year, new season, came up short.
And as you can see, with his hands, he's making sure he shows his fingernails, and he's making sure his hands is in the pyramid position. There's no doubt about it.
My job, we didn't do our job.
And you see his hands go right back to the same position. See? Jimmy Butler is a Luciferian. So is Dwayne Wade. So is LeBron James, Michael Jordan. All these high-level athletes indulge in Luciferianism. Now, you might have some here or there who might not have wanted to get involved in that. But overall, majority of these people indulge in the ancient Babylonian mystery school teachings because they're part of the entertainment sphere. Look, basketball players are no different from actors or politicians. They all in the same world. They're all paid actors. A lot of times they get on TV and they don't say what they truly mean. Occasionally you might get a guy who speaks out from time to time, but most people don't do that. They don't say what they mean and mean what they say a lot of times. But Jimmy Butler has came on out and plays his allegiance. Let's take a look at this. Bam wasn't having it. Bam knows exactly what this is. They've seen this shit behind the scenes. There's no doubt about it. Now, are they shocked that he came on out? A little bit, but they know what it is. There's no doubt about that.
Like the whole lip read.
He said, you need to get a haircut. He said, this is my Halloween. In the occult world of Luciferianism, Halloween is one of the most important holidays. It's a day of when the portals open up for certain demonic spirits and figures to come through it. That's why so many children go missing. Believe this or not, there is a mass of children who are ritualistically sacrificed in America and across the world every Halloween. You know, when I found that shit out about 15 years ago, I stopped celebrating Halloween. I don't want nothing to do with it. So many young kids who are ritualistically sexually abused are also ritualistically sacrificed on the day of Halloween. It's a day of sacrifice. It's a day that portals supposed to open up for demonic spirits to come into this dimension. There's no doubt about that. But I just want to go over that clip of Jimmy Butler. Some people think he done lost his mind, but in his world, you have to pledge your allegiance eventually. If you want to go further, bigger and better. I want to watch this clip with the Bleacher Report, but I don't even. I'm gonna just watch a few seconds of it. And as you can see, when he comes on screen, he makes sure his right eye is covered. He makes sure, you guys, his right eye is covered. That's how you know it's ritualistic in nature. Jimmy Butler is a Luciferian, 100% allegedly. But as you can see, this black woman is looking at this like, what? How far have we fallen? But she knows the entertainment business. She's in it. She understands the religion of the entertainment world. So I wouldn't be surprised if she also wasn't in it. And it's the reason why they had her do the interview in the first place. And they knew before, because it's not like the interview pops on, you ain't talk to each other. They talk to each other. They looking at each other via teleconference, whatever you want to call it, and they looking at each other and they talking what we're going to talk about, the questions we're going to ask. So she knew what to ask him, and she knew what this whole thing was about. I'm going to take a few seconds look and see what she's...
Obvious, which is a new look for you. Before we started, you said this was your emo stage. What does that look like for you?
And when she said emo stage, I remember the little Kardashian daughter was doing the emo. And it's like, emo is like a little demonic spirit for people. So it's like what you would call another personality. Some people have multiple personality disorder. In order to be a Luciferian, you have to have multiple personality disorder. There's no doubt about it. Because you have to, like Beyonce, her multiple personality multiple personality person is Sasha Fierce. So that's that's the demon who comes inside of her when she performs. She said it herself on Oprah. So I'm not just making shit up. Them was her words. So this is his this is his other personality. This is the other demon that's in him. Who comes on TV dressed up like a woman? He does. Dwayne Wade only wishes he had the courage to do this shit. Dwayne, honestly, he learned a lot of this shit from Dwayne Wade when Dwayne Wade was in Chicago with him. And when Dwayne Wade went to Miami, and now he's in cahoots with Dwayne, they all in Florida. So they most definitely are together in the ancient Babylonian mystery school teachers, along with his wife, Gabrielle Union. He was a huge Luciferian who's been in the entertainment industry for a long time. But I don't want to get, I don't want this video to be demonetized, not demonetized, but a copyright strike. So I just want to, give this look. What else he says is ridiculous. It's
emotional right now. A lot of it going on in the past week with basketball. So, I'm in the wearing all black and then my emotions just show.
If you can.
What did he just say? What are the colors for witchcraft? What color do witches wear? All black. He said, I want to wear all black and let my emotions like that is for a woman. That's why he's dressed up like a woman. I mean, some of this shit is so obvious to me. But the thing is that, some people just think it's a joke or they laugh, but they don't understand exactly what they're looking at. Your kids, if he's 10 years old and he's a huge Jimmy Butler fan, he's watching this shit. And this is absurd from that perspective. But he said, I'm wearing all black. I want to hear Jimmy Butler one more time when he says that.
It's emotional right now. A lot of it going on in the past week. Basketball, so I'm in the wearing all black and then my emotions just show.
If you can
And as you can see, he want to let his emotion show, and he's wearing all black. Now, on a two-dimensional level, you might just think, well, they didn't get Damian Lillard, so he's upset. But nobody gets upset like this ever in the history of mankind. So this is just an opportunity for him to show what his adherence is and who his allegiance is to. So it is what it is. Let's go on to this next clip. Unbelievable. Let's go to the next clip. Who is the suspect in Tupac Shakur murder arrest? Keefe D. Now, here recently, Keefe D has been on TV and Vlad TV and every other interview admitting he was part of the Tupac murder. Now, obviously, Keefe D is an old man now. Did the FBI know that Keefe D was part of this and that he was possibly, him and his nephew, was Orlando Brown, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was part of this? 100%. Now, it could have been another person. I don't know. I wasn't there. But Keefe D, there's no doubt Orlando Brown got his ass kicked in that casino in Las Vegas the night of the Mike Tyson fight. We've seen it on video. And we know how Las Vegas works. Around that strip area is not that big. It's really not. So if you drive around looking for a motherfucker, you can run into a person now, especially back then. It was even less in the 90s than it is now. They done built way more casinos now. So it was even less and easier to find and run up on somebody back then if you was in that strip area. So they said they ran up on the man. So he said the shots was fired from the back seat and he was the one that orchestrated the whole thing. He's been saying that shit for years now. And now he's under arrest. Most people say this is self-snitching. It is. Is he an idiot? 100%. Should he pay for this shit? 1,000%. He should pay double. But at his age, it really doesn't matter. He can't pay double. He's so goddamn old at this point that catching him and arresting him means nothing at this point. If they wouldn't have arrested him, it wouldn't have made no difference. He's going to pay when it's time to pay. But Keefe D basically ruined his last 10, 15 years on earth by talking. What has happened to the black male where he become the loosest lips that sinks the most ships on the planet Earth? I don't know. He tells on others and himself more than I've ever seen in my life. You know, the transition that's happened where the man is becoming the woman and the woman is becoming the man, because the man is doing more gossiping, more talking, more motherfucking me finger pointing than I've ever seen in my life. But what is that? What do they always say? The truth shall come to the light. Let's take a look at this clip.
Arrest in the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur is still sending shockwaves across the nation.
It was a long-awaited breakthrough in a case that has remained unsolved for years. Fox 5's Lisa Evers spoke with a former detective who worked on that investigation.
For 27 years, there were no arrests until the suspect who allegedly orchestrated the drive-by shooting, 60-year-old Crip gang leader Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, was indicted by a grand jury.
For a long time, this community and worldwide have been wanting justice for Tupac.
A breakthrough in the case came from the suspected shot caller himself, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who describes his occupation as gangster. He started publicly boasting on
He said he describes his occupation as gangster. You ain't no motherfucking man. You can't be that can't be your goddamn occupation when you're 60. Get the fuck the Negro male. Some of the shit that it's just look. I understand when you're young, you don't have no father, but when you know better, you do better. It got to come a time and a point to where you learn from your mistakes and you grow past it, especially if God gifts you to where you're not killed doing that goofy ass shit of gangbanging. And let me say this about gangbanging. Gangbanging is nothing but low-level Luciferianism. It's low-level devil worship. How do I know? Because I indulged in it a little bit in my youth. You have to have a demonic spirit on you to want to kill another man over a color. Think about that shit. Over a crayon? The color of a crayon? He has on purple, so I'm going to blow his brains out. That's wacky as hell. He lives on 7th Street and I live on 12th. I hate 7th Street. When you really just think about it, it's so stupid. And it's so ridiculous that we have fostered a culture of gangbanging and non-snitching. It's ridiculous. How can you grow if you won't tell when somebody breaks in your neighbor's house? How can you grow if you won't tell when that 12-year-old next door was accidentally shot in a drive-by? You know who did it. How can you grow as a people? You cannot. It's too silly. It's too childish, and it's ridiculous that as black males that we believe in the non-snitching shit. Look, when you do wrong, you're gonna get caught. Look, if you say, for instance, you have a girlfriend and you cheat on her, you're gonna get caught eventually if she loves you. Everybody knows that. Your sister might tell. You mad at your sister? You was gonna get caught anyway. Somehow, some way, she was gonna find out. We get mad at the wrong. We don't get mad at the wrong. We get mad at getting caught.
Social media and major platforms like Vlad TV about his role in the murder, and even wrote a book, Compton Street Legend.
He seemed to think that he had some type of immunity, but that was not the case, and so he essentially popped himself right into jail. I think Las Vegas Police Department was just allowing him to continue to go out there and essentially hang himself with all of these confessions.
Prosecutors allege.
And they said he told on Vlad TV, and they blaming Vlad. Vlad bring you on here. He asks you questions. You can either answer them or not answer them. But if you choose to answer them, that's on you. I'm not going to sit there and blame fucking Vlad. That's a white boy Jew. He's supposed to get you to indict yourself. If you stupid enough to fall for it, then good. Pay double, nigga. Pay double.
He bought the gun that was used by his now deceased nephew, Orlando Anderson.
I said Orlando Brown. I'm thinking about the football player. Orlando Anderson. I'm sorry.
Eventually, Kading says those self-admissions, sometimes called self-snitching, gave prosecutors what they needed to move forward.
The only thing that makes sense to me is that they were just allowing him to continue, just giving him more rope, so to speak, to hang himself with, until it got to the point where they knew they could secure a prosecution.
Tupac's status as a hip-hop megastar has never been in question, but the rapper's death at the age of 25 has bothered his many fans for years. The reaction to this latest development is mixed, says AllHipHop.com CEO Chuck Creekmur.
Some people are just straight up celebrating. They're happy for closure. They're happy to feel like they've healed. Others are frustrated because it's like tearing a scab off and opening a wound. Others are kind of looking at the suspect Keefe D like, you're an idiot.
Davis will be brought before a judge on Wednesday morning to be arraigned on a charge of murder with a deadly weapon. The grand jury also added a sentencing enhancement of 20 years for gang activity. In the newsroom, I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News.
Well, how do I feel about Tupac? Tupac brought all this on himself. He embraced the thug life. He joined the Bloods at the age of 23, 24. And he died doing it. I mean, that's the life of a gangster. Either you go to, look, when I was coming up, they said, if you want to be a gangbanger, you want to be a gangster, there's only two ways out, death or jail. He went to jail. He didn't learn his lesson. He got out. He started running with the Bloods, Holland Blood and Piru and this, that, and the third. And it was what it was. And Tupac knew he was going to die young. So it's not like Tupac wanted to live a long time. He wanted to get a lot done in a short amount of time. And he wanted to live forever. And believe it or not, Tupac was indulging in the ancient Babylonian mystery school teachings too. That's a fact. If you look up who was like Tupac mentors and who he learned from, a Jewish woman was teaching him all of the occult and all that shit. He lived with that lady for like 2 years. Tupac went to performing arts school. His mama was a crackhead in Oakland. Where did they get the money to be in these top-notch schools and get out of here? Tupac is he an industry plant to an extent, but he comes from parents of revolutionaries. He was smart, but came from a performing arts school. I think Tupac is the greatest rapper ever, personally, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't who he was. A lot of that shit was an act from Tupac. And nobody can live up to that act forever. And it was better for him to die young than to live forever and then have all his flaws completely exposed. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's take a look at this next clip. We have this spear in Las Vegas. It's a phenomenal thing to look at. Is it a huge distraction? 100%. Am I going to the spear? Do I got tickets? I will be going in a couple weeks. I will be doing a review, and I'm gonna tell you what that spear is all about before you ever even come to Vegas and go. But it is a technological marvel. It's a scientific advancement. It's an architect's wet dream. Just seeing it, I drive by it maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I'm talking about like right next to it, and I've seen it 20 times at this point, and it is a sight to behold. It really is. But you have U2 performing there, and U2 did a concert, and this whole venue is for performing arts. You know, most artists, when they do concerts like Beyonce or Taylor Swift or any of these major groups, they go to a football stadium. They go to somewhere that is really built for something else, but really they're just turning it into what, a makeshift. You have all these people come in, stage hands and fixing and propping shit up. But this sphere is built for artists to perform in. Let's take a look at the clip.
The entertainment complex Sphere is ushering in a new era in Las Vegas with legendary Irish rock band U2. CBS's Anthony Mason takes us inside.
When U2 opened Sphere, the epic new Las Vegas arena, the audience was in awe, and so were the artists.
This is really mind.
Bono and The Edge first saw designs for the venue 2 years ago.
We left going, we have to do this. Like, we'd be mad not to do this.
Sphere has 160,000 speakers and more than 260 million video pixels.
What the Sphere people figured out is a problem that started when the Beatles played Shea Stadium.
Since the 1960s, big music acts have had to play arenas designed for sports teams.
Does this change that? I think so. And we're about to find out.
Built by the owner of Madison Square Garden, the walls in Sphere can appear to disappear.
And as you can see, the inside of it is built like a Roman amphitheater or a Greek amphitheater because those carry sound a different way. Now, this has taken it to the next level because not only is it built in that same architectural way, it also has 160,000 speakers in there. So this is going to be phenomenal to go in there and see. I can't wait to go in there. I'm going to tell you all about it when I go. And I'm not going to a concert. It's like more of like an immersive experience. So I don't want to give it all away, but I'm going to wait till I actually go and I'm going to break it down for you.
Building that
I already got the tickets.
Core paradox that it has been massively invested in to put it here and wants to imagine itself gone.
Ez Devlin is one of the designers of the U2 show.
What were the marching orders you were given for this?
To create a cathedral in Las Vegas.
Mission accomplished. Anthony Mason, CBS.
Yeah, can't wait to go. It's going to be very, very interesting. Like I said, it's a sight to behold. It's an architectural masterpiece. And, I think they said they're going to be building more. I think the next one is in London. Another one is in Saudi Arabia and Dubai. Or it's either Dubai or UAE. I don't know. One of those. But there's more to come around the world. There's no doubt about that. They're already in the works. Let's look at this. Man killed inside Philadelphia home identified as a community activist. And he's laying with a cat. Now, do I believe grown men should have cats? No, but you have a right to do whatever you want. My granddaddy hated cats. My daddy hated cats. I don't like cats. Now, it's not that I don't like cats and I don't want them to be on the planet Earth. I just don't want them in my house. I don't think that's the type of animal I want around me. I just don't like it. But grown men with kitty cats is just, I just think it's unbecoming, but to each his own. Let's take a look at this clip.
The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office says a local journalist and activist was shot and killed inside his home in Grays Ferry overnight. The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office says a local journalist and activist was shot and killed inside his home in Grays Ferry overnight. The shooting happened just before 1:30 this morning here on the 2300 block of Watkins Street. Investigators say 39-year-old Josh Kruger was shot a number of times to his chest and abdomen. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Arrests have been made and a motive remains unclear here. The DA's office says Kruger was a strong advocate for both the LGBTQ community and Philadelphians struggling with addiction.
Yeah, he's a community activist. And you would think when somebody shoots you at point blank range inside of your house, it was either a crime of passion or a crime of maybe he had a story or something that nobody wanted him to know. But it sounds, sometimes when these people be part of that community, which I'm assuming he is, I don't know for a fact he is, but They say he was a fighter for that, and he got a cat laying on his chest. And I don't see his woman nowhere around. But he could have a woman. I don't know. I'm alleging that he's part of that community. Because the first thing they said, that's who he's standing up for. But when somebody shoots you in your house at point blank range, 9 times out of 10, they knew you. And 9 times out of 10, it was a crime of passion. If not a crime of passion, it was something else very, very, very personal. But we're going to take a look at that clip again here later on down the line and see what else transpires from that case. Let's look at this. Senator Dianne Feinstein to Lyon State in San Francisco City Hall. Dianne Feinstein is a longtime sitting U.S. Senator out of California, out of San Francisco, which is in California, obviously, but out of San Francisco. San Francisco is the headquarters for super liberalism. There's no doubt about that. Let's take a look at this clip.
Funeral plans have been finalized for the late senator. The public will have an opportunity to pay their respects this week. Feinstein's body will be flown back to San Francisco from Washington, D.C. That happened over the weekend. She was escorted from SFO to Sinai Memorial Chapel.
And they had they literally let these people serve until they die, basically. Like Mitch McConnell, he's freezing up and turning to a goddamn he's turned to Mr. Freeze every 2 days, and they still trying to let him serve. The same happened with her. She was sick. She had all these ailments. They still was letting the lady serve. When you're a senator, they let you serve to the very damn end. That is like a lifetime job at this point. Yeah, they be having other people run against them, but some of these senators, it seems like once they get in that spot, there's nothing you can do to get them out of that goddamn spot.
San Francisco police took her through a special route throughout the city, and they planned for her arrival. They say people along that route were stopping to applaud and cheer her name. Services are set for this week. She will lie in state at San Francisco City Hall on Wednesday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. The public is invited to come pay their respects then and sign a condolence book. And then on Thursday at 1 in the afternoon, a funeral service will be held inside of the Herbst Theater at the San Francisco War Memorial and Performing Arts Center. That funeral is not open to the public, but it will be broadcast inside City Hall at the North Light Court.
Senator Feinstein has been there for so long, it's ridiculous. As you can see, they showed her pictures damn near, I think it was from the 60s almost, but yeah, she's been around for a very, very long time. Now, let's go to this next clip. Jonathan Truly expelling Bowman to create instability in Congress. Now, Bowman is the man who pulled the fire alarm to postpone the vote on shutting down the government or not. And this Negro has got to be one of the stupidest people on the planet. He allowed them to use him as a pawn. I wouldn't be surprised if a white woman didn't do it, but there's no doubt he got his marching orders from somewhere else. Ain't no Negro gonna take it upon himself to go in there and pull a fire alarm at his own leisure without somebody telling him he should do that. And not only telling him he should do that, also promising him some things. He got promised some things. There's no doubt about that. Even if he lost his job, which I think there's no chance he will, but anything is possible. But I don't think he's going to lose his job. But if he, in the case he did, he was going to get a huge payout. He was going to get a job at a major corporation, one of the plus jobs where you really don't do nothing. You get an office in the corner. They pay you $300,000-$400,000 a year just to look around. But he is another bald-headed, no hair on the face, super liberal Negro. Some of the worst people on the planet. Because he's a traitor to his race, and he's completely bought in on super liberalism. Hook, line, and sinker. Let's take a look at the clip.
On that note, let's bring in Jonathan Turley, George Washington University law professor and a Fox News contributor, with the question of, could Jamal Bowman end up facing charges? That is the question we all have in our minds today, Jonathan. What do you say?
Yes.
And he said the door was closed and he accidentally pulled a fire alarm. Is that possible? Yes, if you're blind. Is that possible? Yes, if you're having a stroke. Is that possible? Yes, if you're having a brain aneurysm or a heart attack. But to do that being perfectly healthy and fine is impossible, because we all know fire levers in every building in the United States is red, and most of the time they have plastic over them. But even when they don't, they are tough to pull, and it says fire alarm, and it's in red. So it's impossible for him to think that was a door handle or some, you know how he could hit a button and open the door. There's no way he thought that. Just no way.
Well, I hate to be an alarmist, but that is the role that Congressman Bowman has laid out for himself. I mean, he did in fact commit an act that is at least a misdemeanor under DC law. It can be treated as a felony if you believe he intentionally tried to disrupt the congressional proceedings. I think that's unlikely, but it most certainly can be charged as a misdemeanor, a criminal misdemeanor. Now, does that mean that it's grounds for expulsion? I don't think so. I mean,
These niggas is like pets in Congress. These is hairless cats. They do whatever the white liberals tell them to do. They have no backbone. They have no spine. And 9 times out of 10, they're indulging in homosexuality, even though they be married and have kids. So these type of black people that you think are so distinguished and so upstanding and upright, these are the type of niggers that'll sell you out at the drop of a hat. Most people say, we need these people in there. No, we don't. These people aren't helping a Negro nowhere in sight. So they're pointless for us.
I think that people have got to be very careful before they engage in the sort of expulsion compulsion. If you start to do this, you're going to find a lot of folks are pushing for the expulsion of others. The fact that over hundreds of years we've only expelled 5 members should tell you something. They always had that power, but I think both sides recognize that down this road lies madness. If we start to expel members, it's going to become an insatiable appetite.
Do I think they should expel him? 100%. Not because what he did deserves it, because he's a Negro. And just because somebody asks you to do something, that don't mean you just hop right on that shit and do that shit. It's about as silly and wacky as you can fucking get. But he did it 100%. And he did that shit purposefully. Purposely. There's no doubt about that. He did it on purpose, and he made sure he tried to delay that vote. And they should hit him with something. I don't care what it is. Hit him with something. Some kind of charge. Misdemeanor, felony, I don't care what it is. But he needs to pay double.
With the nuance that we have not seen the video, obviously Capitol Police circulated a photo.
Because he's a hairless pet cat. Look, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look, I said I called him a hairless cat at the beginning. Watch him do his little cat claw. Watch him do his little cat claw.
We have not seen the video. Obviously Capitol Police circulated a photo, but for all...
Oh, man, I'm too good at this shit. Look at him. Turns into a hairless fucking little cat. Wow. These are some of the worst people on the planet. Some of the worst Negroes on the planet. There's no doubt about it.
We know he is bumbling around trying to figure out how to open the door. We won't know until we see it. But there have been comparisons made between what happened with him on Saturday, impeding the government business of Congress, and what happened on January 6th. Are those fair comparisons to make, in your view?
I don't think that factually that you can compare this to a riot that stopped the constitutional process of certification. Now, if it's merely a technical comparison of if he intended to disrupt the proceedings,
of course he
sure,
did.
You can make that comparison, but I don't think it warrants expulsion. I think mature minds have got to step back and say that it warrants some type of response, some penalty, but expulsion is the nuclear option.
Drop the bomb on his funky ass. Drop the nuke on him.
DC Police would refer this to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
And they cut his ass right off because he wasn't saying nothing they wanted to hear on Fox News. They want to throw this nigga to the wolves. There's no doubt about that. And I'm right with him. You might say, he's a nigga. Nah, fuck that shit. This nigga letting them super liberals use him as a fucking puppet in a pond and just some loose, dumb nigga. You just some big, dumb, black cat, hairless cat buck out there just doing anything for any reason. How did this help you? Other than make you look like a fool. But like I said, it helped him to the point they did promise him some shit. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let's take a look at this next clip. I got one more clip. Well, I got two more clips, but one more. U.S. funding to Ukraine running low, Pentagon says. Of course it's running low. Look, this is the reason I have these videos pulled up. I made all these videos talking about the Ukraine, as you can see. Russian-Ukraine war food shortage. World War III, what America rolled. The CIA is on the ground in the Ukraine. Russia says it's on the verge of war with the U.S. United States sends F-16 fighter jets. Why Russia is fighting the war in Ukraine? Russia flexes its muscles. I made all of these videos in almost every one of them videos. Some of these videos is almost 2 years old. I told you that Russia would fight these fucking wars to the very end. And I told you exactly why they were fighting these wars, because the United States has all its missile defense and offensive missiles right on the border of Russia or close to the border. And Ukraine is literally a part of Russia in the United States mind. So if the United States have any sway or anything, they can literally send in spies, they can send in disinformation, they can do so much being in the Ukraine. Not just lining up all their missiles. That's terrible. That's the number one thing you don't want. But so many other things they can get done being right there next to the Russian border. So they couldn't have it. And I told you, no matter what, Russia would never pull out of this war, and they're going to fight this shit to the bitter end. The United States now is running low on money to try to fund this goofball ass shit. Let's take a look at the clip.
Ukraine tonight and the warning from the Pentagon after Congress stripped money for Ukraine from that deal to keep the government running. The Pentagon with this warning that the money is now slowing, so is the help in Ukraine tonight.
The Pentagon tonight warning that US funding to provide arms and ammunition for the war in Ukraine is running low. Congress avoided a government shutdown in part by stripping $6 billion of funding for the war. Pentagon officials saying existing funds are dwindling, where the US has already slowed down resupplying some of its own forces. The demand for weapons and munitions is staggering. Video showing the ferocity of the fight on the war's main southern front. Formidable Russian defenses.
And I kept telling you guys in these other videos I made on this shit. They keep saying the Ukraine is doing this and they're doing well and doing such and such. Well, why the hell the Russians still in there fighting so goddamn hard if they're doing so well? And I said every time they say it's even, Russia is winning. If they say the Ukraine is winning, that means it's an even fight. Whatever they telling you is propaganda and misinformation. There's no doubt about it. But now the truth is slowly starting to come out. And they're having to start telling the truth. We can't keep funding this war because it's becoming a lost cause. And Russia's going to fight this tooth and nail. There's no doubt. Russia don't care if this shit become a third world country. As long as the United States don't hold sway over the Ukraine where they can line their missiles up and send their spies in right next to the border. That's what they don't want.
Firepower holding Ukraine back, with casualties mounting. Hospitals full of badly wounded soldiers. Paris losing an arm to an explosive drone after an assault on Russian positions went horribly wrong. Out of 7 men in his unit, believes 4 did not survive. The enemy's advantage is enormous.
That's enormous.
When our infantry advances, just die. The officials say there is hardly any money left for additional humanitarian and financial aid for Ukraine, but a new military aid package for Ukraine could come as soon as this week, using existing funding. David?
All right, Tom Suki, you're reporting from Kyiv for us, Tom. Thank
you. Yeah, waste of time at this point, y'all. A waste of time. And I've covered this from the very beginning. I think I did a fantastic job over almost 2 years of covering this story. Everything I damn near predicted has came true. When they first was letting Americans come over there and fight, I was one of the first people on YouTube to tell you what happens when them people get captured. And I'll be damned 6 or 7 months later, Americans people start getting captured. I broke everything down and told you why. I told you that Russia would never stop fighting this war at any cost. They don't care the cost. I mean, everything I predicted about this war is damn near came true. That's why I'm one of the best on YouTube, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. Let's take a look at this. Missing 9-year-old girl found safe. Suspect in custody. This little case is a little strange to me. It has my Negro spidey senses tingling like a motherfucker. Let's take a look at this clip.
Take This is breaking news from Chelsea Eyewitness News.
There's a big relief tonight in upstate New York after a missing and kidnapped 9-year-old girl is found safe and sound.
New York Governor Hochul giving details tonight on how the girl was found and how a suspect was taken into custody.
An Amber Alert issued yesterday. Hundreds searching for this young girl from Saratoga County who vanished while riding her bike at Moreau Lake State Park Saturday night.
Tonight, Governor Hochul said the case broke early this morning when someone left a ransom note in the parent's mailbox. State police found.
I'm not buying it for 1 second. I'm not saying the little girl was in on it. I'm saying this whole thing is mighty suspicious. Since when do people leave ransom notes anywhere except when you're in Mexico dealing with the cartel? That shit doesn't work anywhere in America ever, ever, ever. Ransom notes do not work with children. I've never seen it work. It doesn't even work on the CSI, the SWAT team. None of them detective shows that you see, none of that shit ever works. Why in the fuck would a man leave a ransom note for kidnapping a kid? That sounds strange in itself. But let's keep listening.
The fingerprint on it, and that they matched that fingerprint to someone arrested in 1999 for a DW.
So he stuck it in there with his bare hand. What else? Was it written in crayon? What did the letter say? I have your daughter at 3828 Southeast Street. Send me $5,000 or else. Get the fuck out. Come on, everything on the news ain't true. I'm sorry. I'm not saying they didn't really find her. They really did. I'm not saying the little girl is in on it. I'm not saying that. But somebody is in cahoots together for this whole case. I'm not buying this shit at all.
In Saratoga. And that led police to a camper behind the suspect's mother's home and the girl.
If for some reason
he had the girl in the camper behind his mama house. You just show me any TV show where the ransom note worked. It never works. It never works. Was this motherfucker retarded? Did he have Down syndrome? Now wait a minute. This is where I could be wrong. Maybe he was completely mentally off his rockers. Or maybe he was in one of the mental institutions and they didn't coerce him into doing this shit. And they want to have this lady look like the hero. Maybe she's running for office. Maybe election is coming up. You'd be surprised some of the wacky shit that happens close to election time. Some of these small counties and shit. Some of these rural areas.
distance, the suspect was taken into custody. And immediately, the little girl was found in a cabinet, covered. She was rescued. And she knew she was being rescued. She knew that she was in safe hands.
Oh, God.
I'm
not buying. I'm not buying none of it, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying it. Could be wrong, but I don't buy none of this shit. I think this to make the governor look good. I think New York is in peril, and I think they did that to make the governor look good. They found her behind his mama house in a cabinet, and the girl knew she was being rescued. It was, come on in here, cops. I'm in the cabinet. Man, get the some of the wacky shit that's going on in this world. God damn, the United States is sinking fast. Ooh, we going the wrong way at light speed pace at this point, aren't we? Sweet teenage Jesus. God, somebody need to kidnap Jimmy Beauty Queen and put him in a cabinet. Lord have more mercy. And sitting next to Keefe D, just the dumb nigga coalition. Unbelievable. But, I just wanted to go over these news clips, you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching the channel, man. This has been Sports Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on Jimmy Butler's now, worshiping the Baphomet ride. Peace.